ChatGPT has deep research and agent modes, but one of them is far more reliable. It's not like having Jarvis, Iron Man's AI assistant, running your life for you, but it's one step towards an AI that works for you while you don't. Let's see how they work. Deep research is about one thing, going deep into a single topic. When you switch it on by clicking the plus sign and selecting deep research, ChatGPT doesn't just spit out a quick response like normal. It'll comb through PDFs or reports, articles, files that you've uploaded to it and go deep and research into them and then give you a response. Like with any prompt, you need to be clear about your request. So if I were to write, give me a report on how content creators are using AI tools to improve their work, it'll give me a decent report, I guess, but it might or might not give me the kind of information I really want because it's really vague and doesn't give it enough context. But if I was to prompt, you're an expert business and marketing strategist that takes what you know from about me, from my history and other chats and what I do, you can also look at my website. You have my YouTube, my Instagram, my Substack, my LinkedIn profile. Search for competitors similar to me and the service I offer. So advisors on AI and business on YouTube or online. Give me 20 comparable examples of people that offer the same or similar services with their online connections. What platforms are they on? With brief summaries on them, their offerings and how they're leveraging social media, their branding offerings. Put all that in the table. I also want an executive summary, easy to read, comparing what they do, what are they doing differently to me, how are they effective in creating value for themselves. So much more detailed, much more specific to my needs, and therefore the result will be much more relevant. Now, when you prompt your deep research, the first response of it, it'll ask you to make sure I find the most relevant competitors in this case, because that's what it's going to research. Could you clarify a few points? So it's actually going to ask you some questions to clarify what you need, which I think is very good. It forces you to be more specific, more concise, more detailed about what you want, so it doesn't go off and waste its time, which means your time. So it says, are you focused specifically on independent content creators, or do you want to include small agencies or firms? So it's actually very relevant. I'm a very, very small company, essentially a one-man show, so I don't want to compare myself to businesses with multiple people. I will refine that and say, I want independent content creators and consultants. It also asks, is your priority on those who are actively growing on their personal brand or via YouTube or social media, or more about services they offer to other businesses? Would you like to focus on those targeting small to medium businesses, enterprise clients, or solopreneurs, or all of the above? So it's really focusing my request so it can go off and research. So I answered it. I gave it more specific information. So once you've answered the questions and hit go, then it'll go off and gather the information and give you the response that you want. Now, in your prompt, in your main prompt, you can give it examples. So if you want formatting examples, you want it to respond in a certain way, you can give it those examples. I want it in bullet points, split into 5 different sections. Be very specific about how you want it to deliver that information to you based on what it is you want. And it'll take about a few minutes, up to 20 minutes, because it has to go off and find the sources and then finally give you that response. Here it took research completed in 9 minutes. So it depends on how deep you need it to go, what your prompt is asking for. I had asked it for a table. You can ask it also to open up a canvas mode. In your prompt, just tell it, put it in a canvas mode, and it'll do that for you. In my case, I asked it to create a table of all my competitors. It also gave me an executive summary because I asked for that, to give me a summary of everything that's in the table and where they focus and how it compares to me. Basically, I'm getting 2 types of responses all in one: a table and the executive summary with information about how my competitors compared to me. So very useful. And, I can take a lot out of this. It's gone in quite deep. Clear branding and visual identity, multi-platform presence and engagements. I've started spending more time creating content for Instagram, for LinkedIn, and just using the content I create here and the knowledge that I'm sharing here and seeing how do I do it in other formats on other platforms, because that's what they're doing. And I think I need to expand my audience and share what I know in a much wider range. And now I can chat with ChatGPT here and pull out very specific information from it. So research that I can then fine tune and pick out all the details that I need from it. I've read all this, but I would like it to be much more summarized now. And I can do that through ChatGPT as well. So what are its main uses? Competitor analysis, so just like I prompted, or related to that, marketing trends. So if you're developing a product, you can research your competitors, but you can also ask it to look at market trends and how your product fits that. Academic research, if you're in university or you're studying, then use it to help you research the topics you're working on. Pitch meetings or prepping for a meeting, you can ask it to research the company that you're going to meet. I did that recently where I asked it to tell me how they're operating, and it gave me some really useful information that I could use in the meeting. And personal projects. If you're going on holiday or you're going on a trip somewhere, you could literally research where you should go, how you should kind of enjoy that part of the world. So as you can see, it's quite useful to go deep into a topic that you're researching. The good thing is it can go off for 9 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes and work and research this while you continue to work. And then you can use that research to keep working on your own on the insights that you get from it. Let me know how you're using it. If you've already used it, let me know in the comment section what you think about it. And if you do get to use it now that you know about it, let me know how you'd use it, what it is you're using it for. I'm curious to see what other use cases that you have for it. If you're on the Plus plan, then I think you get about 25 research prompts per month. Right now, it's like, as you see here, it's showing me how many I've got until when. Agents are a different beast. While deep research finds information, agents will act on that information. It'll do multiple tasks for you. To start it, you click on the plus button and click agent mode. I have 10 left, so I think you get about 15 a month. I'm not sure about that. To prompt it, give it multiple tasks, and again, quite detailed oriented. If you have just 2 tasks that are easy to do and it'll not require too much time, don't use the agent mode. It's a waste of the resource that you've got, basically. I find that it's really useful when you've got quite a few tasks and repetitive tasks that take time, more time than you realize sometimes. So what can agents do? Browse the web, go into your apps or websites, or scroll and click and fill in forms, log into accounts if you log them in, and work inside your platforms, create documents or spreadsheets, for example. Much of what we do inside our browsers, it can do for us, and it can do multiple tasks, all from a single prompt. But you'll need to be careful with ChatGPT Agent. Let me show you how I used it, and I'll explain. So I had asked it, go into my LinkedIn and search for the top 20 groups of writers. I'm looking for writers in creative writing, script writing, storytelling, sales and marketing, copywriting. I want large groups of 25,000 and above. Look for these groups that I can join. I want to join these groups and promote my 2 custom GPTs that helps writers and share it with them. Create a table of these groups. So I could ask it, create a table here, which is what I did. Or I could say, go into my Google Sheets, for example, and create me a Google Sheets table with all this information. I want their group names, their size, their summaries of them, look at their most recent LinkedIn posts and the about section of each, and provide links in the column that I can click and go straight to the groups. And I can keep, add more tasks to that. Once I had set it to go, it says understood. It tells me what it's going to do. So it summarizes and tells me that I understood the tasks. So it worked for 34 minutes. At the same time as it was working, I was talking to a client on Zoom. So once I set it off, I then had a conversation with a client. Once that conversation was done, I came back to ChatGPT and I saw the results. So it'd gone into my LinkedIn, it'd done its tasks as if I would have done them manually. I saved myself essentially not 34 minutes, because if I needed to go and search groups, read about them, pull out the information, put them in a table, just like it did here, and summarize them for myself, that would have taken me at minimum 2 hours of work, at least. It should probably more. So I just saved myself hours of my life with a simple prompt. If you look at the result, it's actually quite good. It's got its links. I looked through the different groups and it gave me reasonable sources. And what it does is it opens up a portal. When you set off an agent, and in this case, you ask it to go into a web app, it'll open up a portal somewhere in a server and start working for you. So it doesn't work inside your browser, unlike some other AI agents. I'll talk about those after. Here, as you can see, it's actually working. So while I was talking to my client, it's gone into my LinkedIn and started searching and clicking, and you can see the cursors moving. It's looking through the information that I had asked for and pulling out all the content, all the relevant info that I needed. Here, play back what it was doing. I'll skip ahead, and you can see it's reading through the about of a group. It's clicking into that group to open it. It's opening up new tabs and searching for them, reading the description. Is this relevant to the request that I gave it? And it's talking to itself, going through the logic of what it's supposed to do. And it's all recorded for you here. Once it's pulled out the information, it'll provide the response that you asked for it. The first time you use it to log into a web app or a platform like LinkedIn or your Google Drive, it'll ask you, or it'll try to log in, but then you can get control of the interface. Log into the web app for it. Once it's in, you give it back control and it'll go on and do its tasks. So the following day, I came in and I asked it to take similar actions in my LinkedIn about another topic. And it was able to just go into my LinkedIn and start performing the tasks. And I thought to myself, wait a minute, you didn't ask me to log into my LinkedIn. And I realized that there's a security issue here. Because I had not logged out of my previous session with the agent inside LinkedIn, it had kept that interface open somewhere in some server in the world somewhere. And that is absolutely a problem when it comes to your personal privacy. I realized you need to ask it in your prompt, or once it's done its task, to tell it, log out of my LinkedIn, or log out of my Google Drive, log out of whatever web app you're on, or take control. Like here, you can see I can take over the interface. It's kept that link to that particular portal open. So as you can see, it's restoring that link. And as you can see, I've got now control over that user interface. And if I have not logged out, it stays open. Hackers can come in through that. I don't understand why OpenAI have allowed for this. There should be a timeout. So I was really concerned about that and needed to share with you. So make sure you log out. So in this case, I've got control of it. I can sign in now if I wanted to. And you see, it's even remembered me. Yeah, forget this account. That's also very important. I didn't think about that. I should have thought about this earlier. Forget this account. I don't want you to remember me. So it's forgotten my password. And to be honest, what I should do now that this has happened is change my password and make sure that there's no security issue there. It has remembered my email. I don't mind that. So be very, very careful with this particular agent. Once you've logged in or logged out, say finish controlling, and it'll give back control to the agent. So that's it. Make sure that you're aware of that issue. But as you can see, it's managed to do work for me that saved me a lot of hours of work. ChatGPT Agent does have other limitations that I want to show you. In terms of use cases, like I just showed, doing some market research, competitor research, and then acting upon it, different tasks to pull out information, organize it in certain forms so that I can then use it. Or even take actions on it. You can get it to message for you. I'm wary of doing that, getting an agent to actually send out emails, send out messages for me. I'd rather not do that. But what I can do is tell it, look at these people on LinkedIn, for example, or on any other platform, and build me a profile on them and create me a personalized message for each and every one, put it in a table somewhere. You can then edit them and go through them and edit in your words. Automated data entry. So if you're pulling information and you asked it to go off and get a lot of information and you want to then put it in a Google Sheet, but it can also act on that Google Sheet, or it can compare that data with other data. You can create content with it. For example, if you're doing a lot of blogging or if you're creating a lot of social media posts, it can go off and look at sources that you usually look at and then create different blog posts or social media posts based on information that you've given it. So if you feed it for information, data, the way you do things, ChatGPT has your history, but if you give it context, it can go off and perform on the basis with the reference of that context and how to write your social media posts. And it could even then post for you. So you can ask it, I want to approve the post that you want to put up, and go through the approval process and then say, yes, good to go. Could you please post these in my different social media posts? See what you can do. You can even ask it to automate form filling. So if you're doing a lot of filling forms regularly, then it can do that for you. I'm interested to know what use cases you'd be using it for. So if do share that in the comment section. There's a lot of potential here. Its main flaw is we saw there's a security issue, but you can deal with that. But that's something to be aware of. In addition, I had a situation where I asked it to go into my YouTube channel. I wanted to analyze my YouTube channel, the analytics within my channel, which has a lot of data there. It tried to log into my Google account. It just couldn't. See, it got to my channel, but it couldn't log in. Like I explained earlier, I took control and I tried to log in for it, and it just wasn't able to log in. Google refused to accept my login in some portal somewhere. I just could not log into my Google account, no matter what I did. I don't know if I changed my VPN. I don't know if there's a way, if there's a loophole. I'll need to search that. That's maybe a good thing, that Google is saying, no, this is not a secure line. I'm not letting you in. But just be aware that ChatGPT Agent doesn't give you the full scope that it should, really, compared to its competitors. And another flaw that I found, I'd shown a client of mine how this works, and he got it working. It was working through his LinkedIn, and it was doing similar things to what I showed earlier. And all of a sudden, it stopped working. I don't know why. My belief is that maybe LinkedIn algorithm caught a hold of the fact that essentially a bot was operating on his behalf. It could be because it's sitting on a server somewhere and it's connecting the fact that it's not his usual device, but he also got it to send messages for him. And it's possible that LinkedIn algorithm picked up on that and did a block. And then that portal essentially is blocked off and he couldn't keep working. Sometimes it just stops, or it'll not be able to understand how to do captures. So it's not as stable as deep research. Research is far more reliable as a tool than ChatGPT Agent. So we're just in the beginning stage of the AI agents. In the next year or so, I think a year and a half, we'll likely all be interacting with our AI and the internet, mainly using these agents. They'll handle these tasks, our web apps and platforms, acting as our true semi-automated assistants, digital assistants. ChatGPT's competitors already have browser integrated agents, like Perplexity's Comet is a much better product than ChatGPT's agent. Why? Because it sits on a browser. They've got their own browser called Comet, and it'll go into your tabs and perform on your behalf, which is a lot more safer than the ChatGPT agent that opens a portal in some computer on some server you don't know even where it is in the world, and it's then basically operating in your network, in your IP address, and it's something that you can physically just stop in real time if you have to. It's a better product. Another one I wanted to show is Retriever, because I'll do a video specifically on AI agents soon, I hope. I was going to do it, but the problem is this company Retriever, this application, which used to be a Chrome extension that sits and does the same thing as Perplexity's Comet. It goes into your tabs and operates for you. They're upgrading it, and probably, I assume, what they're doing is creating a web app or their own browser. So they've stopped the extension, so I couldn't show it to you and how it works because I really wanted to. I don't have access to Perplexity's Comet yet. I'm on the wait list, so I don't want to spend $200 a month on it, which I think is quite steep. I can't really show it yet, but I do want to dig deeper in the future for you. It's clear that OpenAI and Google with Gemini will be releasing something out quite soon. They can't allow their competitors to have a much superior agents going on. So I'm waiting for Google to be able to turn Google Chrome into a browser that has Gemini built into it properly, and it can operate as a true agent for us. Because right now, Gemini within the Google apps is quite limited. I've done about 3 videos on them, and you can see them. I'll share them in the links if you want. Gemini inside the apps doesn't perform like an agent, as an assistant, a real assistant. So it's clear very soon OpenAI and Google will be offering good competitors to Perplexity's Comet, essentially turning their browsers, or in OpenAI's case, will create a browser that will compete. And when that happens, your ability to give clear instructions is your main skill. And that's what even today, that's your main skill. Giving clear, structured requests for the AI assistants to give us the responses that we want, right? So make sure you keep practicing your prompting, keep using these tools and getting better at getting it to respond in the way that you want it to. I've seen recently on social media a lot of complaints about ChatGPT 5's release, that it's not responding like it used to. And I found that very curious. It just means that most people are just asking it to do things and expecting a behavior and just gotten used to a certain behavior, not realizing that its behavior is actually in line with your request. You're communicating to your AI. And so it's responding based on how good your communication is. So make sure you keep practicing your prompting. I do want to work on another video about agents. I do want to go deeper into Retriever and show how they work. So look forward to that in the future. Hopefully I can get Perplexity comment going once they've approved me while I'm on the waiting list. And then I can really deep dive into AI agents. Anyway, if you found this video helpful, click the like button and do subscribe to my channel for more knowledge on AI tools and tips and tricks. And if you want to see how to build your own custom GPTs inside ChatGPT and make money from them, click on this video link here. Or if you want to see how to use my prompt template to prompt your custom GPTs or ChatGPT in general in the best way possible, click on this video link here.